I've always been into motorcycles. We growing up, I unfortunately didn't get too involved into it till probably I got out of high school. One of my earlier jobs, I worked for a machine tool company, and that's what kind of gave me my first interest in doing machine type work. I finally decided to do what the rest of the family had done, was get in the oil field. Even with my dad, you know, my dad's always had that mindset, is if something's broke, well, let's figure out how to fix it. You know, it ain't something's broke, oh, well, somebody go get me a phone, we need to call somebody. Clinton Wallace, we're here in Cleveland, Texas. I've always been into motorcycles. We growing up, I unfortunately didn't get too involved into it till probably I got out of high school. Then as soon as I moved out the house, Dad gets him a bike, and I'm like, what is going on here? What am I missing here? And that's when I found out the whole story that, you know, I mean, my grandfather had a 57 Panhead. All the boys was taking turns kind of riding. Well, my dad's oldest brother ended up wrecking the bike. Bike was sold so that the other 4 boys wasn't going to kill themselves on it and stuff like that. So I had a few stock bikes to begin with, and like most people, you know, wanted to kind of make it my own and customize them some, you know, stuff like that. So I did like most people, just buy whatever I could bolt on at the time and stuff. At the time, didn't have shop or anything at all to do anything with and stuff. So most of what I done started out just under a carport. When I started working out offshore 7 and 7. And you know, when you're on a platform for 7 days, there's not a whole lot to do. Compressors need worked on, pumps need being worked on and stuff like that, you know, and that was not part of my job requirement and stuff, but I was not gonna sit there and just watch a mechanic do his job while I have absolutely nothing to do. So I got in with the mechanics and would help them. I worked in production. So drilling is when they go in there, drill the well. Then it gets turned into production, which is where we come in. And then the first time I welded with a TIG, I'm like, really? You can actually weld and not get blistered up from head to toe? I'm like, this is freaking amazing. At the beginning, I did the welding, but I was always buying my fittings and stuff from somebody. I decided to buy my first lathe. We committed that we was gonna buy the place from my parents. We had to clear the property. With my wife, like I said, she's always had horses and stuff, you know, showing them whether it was barrel racing or now, you know, cutting horses. We knew we needed everything cleared, you know, for pasture and stuff. Somehow we both wound up in the hill country, you know, me being from Louisiana, her being raised pretty much in Oregon and stuff like that. At that time, I was still rodeoing. I rode rough stock, I rode bulls, and I rode bareback horses. The way it works, I mean, you know, we 100% support each other in what we do. The horses that she's working with now are way too expensive for me to be getting on and screwing up. So, man, I tell you, we are so blessed with dogs. So I brought a couple home, but the rest, most of these animals are just literally strays that have either wandered up or like the 2 I found. Rescues, you know, they were puppies that were on the side of the road that I picked up and brought home. The good thing about dogs like that is that they're very loyal. Really like the styling of the longer bikes, you know, they just look really cool and stuff like that. And then I rode the first one, you know, which was Hippie Chick, and the ride is phenomenal. The gold bike that I had built out this one, that was the longest one so far. Most people that see that bike, the first thing they're gonna say is, yep, it's a neat bike to look at, but you ain't riding that bike nowhere. Anybody that knows anything about bikes, it's one thing to build a rigid bike, but building a swing arm bike is a little bit different animal. Go out there, build something. Like I said, don't expect it to be, you know, a showpiece at first. You know, it doesn't have to be. I build bikes just because I enjoy doing it. You know, I'm not really building it to go impress anybody or do nothing like that. I just enjoy doing it, you know. You know, the first time you do something, it's never going to be perfect, you know, but man, to sit back and say, you know what, it ain't perfect, but I built it. I've been asked several times why I've never tried to open a shop. I can come out here like that if I've had a rough day at work. A lot of times I'll come out here and that's what I'll do. I'll start machining parts on the mill or the lathe or something. Clinton Wallace, Cleveland, Texas, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.